Let's find out what Reno thinks about drinking in the dorms.
Should be good.
Please state your name and job.
I'm Tim Unger. I'm a resident assistant in Reno Hall.
Do you know about the phenomenon of drinking in the dorms?
Yes, it's pretty common for, I think, undergraduate students, especially at the University of Iowa, to kind of get involved with the culture of drinking downtown.
How apparent is the issue of drinking in the dorms in your particular job yourself?
I mean, as an RA, we're not really looking to be kind of the cops on the floor. Like, we're just here to more enforce policy when we have to. So if we see something that's going on, if we see someone that's drinking, then we have to act. It's part of our job. We can't just ignore it. But we're not looking to kind of bust people. I think that's a common misconception about our job is people think that we're looking to get people in trouble, but we're really just trying to kind of keep the halls safe, and because there's some dangers that arise from people drinking too much.
Here at Reno, would you say it was a major problem, and in particular this floor?
I wouldn't. I mean, it's always kind of remained the same for me from when I've been living in the dorm since my freshman year. I've always kind of seen that most of the kids will go out and drink just because it's a peer pressure thing. A lot of kids, I felt it when I was in my freshman year, and so people want to belong when they're freshmen, so they go out and drink. But as for a major problem, I mean, it really depends on how responsible you are when you drink. There's some people that just drink way too much, and just like once you're throwing up and passing out, it just gets dangerous. As for this floor, I mean, I would say that this floor like to kind of congregate in the hallways and talk to each other a lot. But it wasn't. I mean, I did have to tell people to be quiet, but it wasn't like it got to the point where it was so bad and I saw it from drinking. So I would say for the most part, people kind of were respectful and knew that kind of their limits for drinking.
Are there procedures in place to minimize drinking in the dorms, like procedures and protocols?
Yeah, we have just for starters, we as RAs were required to put on 2 programs a month, and this kind of helps provide alternatives for drinking. If usually have events every Thursday, Friday, or Saturday that if people want to go to, they can. There's also CAB, the Campus Activities Board, puts on events every week, whether it's like a movie at the Bijou or the Illinois Room, or they'll also have kind of events where they go to another like city, like Six Flags, and so there's always options for people. But I think it's just people kind of get used to what they've been doing for a long time, and they want to keep doing it. And so I think that's why most people want to drink every weekend if they don't. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the future holds for drinking in the dorms? Do you think there will be any drastic changes in protocols, maybe how the students act towards it?
I mean, I think the university is always trying to curb the underage drinking problem. I would say that a few years ago they started implementing alcohol fine funds, the program, and that was if you get caught drinking in the dorms, you have to pay a fine, and it's usually pretty hefty. Before a few years ago, there wasn't any fine. It would just be written up and put on your record. And so I think they're always trying to figure out ways to kind of drift away from the underage drinking, and you could even see it with the 21 ordinance, how the university's kind of trying to get away from that.
All right, Tim, do you have any other further comments that could add to the story of drinking in the dorms?
I would just say I think as resident assistants, and even I guess I'm just speaking for myself, but I think that we recognize that people will always be drinking. Like that's kind of it's something they get used to or they expect from the college culture, so that they're going to do it. We're just trying to kind of have that be a little bit less, or teach people to kind of handle themselves responsibly, because a lot of people, when they come into college, they get first impressions about things and they don't know really what to expect, and so they kind of just go along with their friends, and we're trying to maybe just help them kind of understand that there's certain ways you can do that while still being safe, and just being responsible about it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. That was Reno RA Tim Unger. The major points that he went over were that underage drinking is part of college life, always has been and always will be. The RAs aren't really out there to get you, and that the main problem is the irresponsibility so many students show when drinking in the dorms. Hey, how's it going today?
Hey,
So, please tell me your name and your job.
I'm Dan Duree, and I'm a student here at Iowa.
Do you know about the subject of drinking in the dorms?
Yeah, drinking in the dorms. It's pretty, it's common. You hear about it a lot. So
Do you see it as a big problem here at Iowa?
I wouldn't say it's it's not really a problem, but it's more of like a thing that just goes on. It's like a cultural thing, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the actions here at Iowa are strict enough against offenders or should be harsher?
I definitely think they're strict enough. Whether it be in the dorms or like in bars underage. Underage, it's kind of ridiculous. You read in the papers how like different crimes are ridiculously low compared to drinking, but I guess that's how it is. I think they're trying to change that.
Does drinking in the dorms affect your life in any way?
No, not really. Unless you consider seeing someone stumble around every once in a while, but that's not really affecting me.
Do you know of anyone who does the drinking in the dorms? And if so, how does it affect their life, their schooling, their social life?
I know people, but I don't really know how if it affects them or not. I don't think it affects them.
Well, there you have it from my roommate Dan. He doesn't really care much for drinking in the dorms, but then again, it doesn't really affect him much. Hi, what's your name and what do you do here at Iowa?
Brianna Nyan, and I'm a student.
Do you know about the phenomenon of drinking in the dorms?
Yes, it's not allowed. Anything else?
Any further comments on it regarding?
Don't you get like 3 strikes, but you get fined like $200 every time?
Oh yeah, there's fines. Do you see it as a big problem here at Iowa?
No, not really.
Why do you say that?
I think a lot of people drink outside of the dorms.
So drinking in the dorms is
not as big of a deal as people think.
Do you think actions are strict enough against offenders or should be harsher?
I think actions are fine. I don't think they should be any harsher.
Does drinking in the dorms affect your life in any way, positive, negative?
Not really on weekends. Drinking in the dorm doesn't affect me. I'm not affected by other people, but if it's like a Tuesday night, I'm trying to study in my room and somebody's drinking down the hall and it's like really loud music. I guess drinking doesn't affect me, but it comes with loud music and obnoxious people.
So you would say it's the irresponsibility some people have when they're drinking in the dorms?
Yes.
Do you know of anyone who does drink in the dorms? And if so, how does it affect their life, their schooling, their family, their friends?
Yes, I know people that drink in the dorm for even by themselves, and I don't think their schooling is very well.
Do you have any further comments to add to the investigation of drinking in the dorms here at Iowa?
I think there should be a warning before they actually ticket, and I think that it's a little harsher than it should be.
Thank you very much for your time. Well, you heard it from Brienne. No, she has no problems with drinking in the dorms. She knows people who do it, and it doesn't affect her. But she did comment on the irresponsible people who play music after they've been drinking in the dorms. Just like Tim said, it's the irresponsibility that leads leads to the dangers, the problems, and the upset people. So perhaps it's not the actual drinking itself, or perhaps it is.